Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. Today we're checking out the Headrush Pedalboard system. Let's get into it. Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. I've had so many requests to check out the Headrush Pedalboard. I've got this for a limited amount of time, so I don't have enough time to really go through it and know everything about it. So what I've done, I've spent a day messing around with it and coming up with some pretty cool effects that I hope you like. The Headrush can be used in a number of different ways. You can either use it direct to a PA system or audio interface, which is what you heard in the intro track, or you can use it as a pedalboard going straight into your amplifier. Now, I'm gonna give you some of my thoughts about this at the end, but so far so good. I gotta say, some of the tones in here are really convincing. It doesn't take much to tweak one that you kind of like to get something that you really like out of it. So a huge thanks to my friend Dom for allowing me to borrow this as well. One of the things I should point out is I'm not putting this back to factory default. Dom has actually imported some third-party Celestion IRs into this unit. So some of those sounds might be some of the ones we're hearing today and some might not be as well. We're gonna make a few different patches and take it from there. So a huge thanks to Dom for allowing me to borrow this. I really appreciate it. If you wanna find out more about it, all links will be in the description below. Let's do it. This video won't be a deep dive or anything like that. What I've done is I've grabbed a few different presets out of the unit and I've tweaked them to my liking. So this first one is based on 227 Fusion Rock. I changed up the presence and the top end and a few little other parameters just to sort of get the sound I had in my head, but based off already a great sound. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. This is neck pickup on the Flying V. Man, I could play that all day. It's got a lot of gain, the delay's nice, it feels good under the fingers. What can I tell you? All right, pretty cool. Up next is number 247. This is the high gain one, and I've changed up not only the delay and reverb, but I changed the cab and mic type as well as some of the parameters on the amp. So I changed it up quite a lot. This is bridge pickup. Here we go. Over to neck. Up next is preset number 195 called Sally Rides. I actually really like this clean tone just as it is, but we'll dive in and we'll change it up as well. This is how it sounds just straight out of the box on neck pickup on my PRS. All right, we've got it loaded with a 4x12. Let's go, 4x10, sorry, I should say. Let's change that up to the Tweed Luxe. We'll see how this sounds. Sounds fine to me. It's a really nice clean tone, just as it is, and it's nice and simple to get a different sound. So we've got the dynamic 421 mic. If we change this to say the condenser 87, it's going to sound a whole lot fuller. Here we go. Cool. Up next, we're trying a blues patch called 89 Texas Blues. I changed everything from how the amp was set up to how the pedal was set up, the overdrive going into it. It's based on an Ibanez Tube Screamer or a Maxon OD808 or whatever. So let's give this a shot on neck. I think it sounds pretty nice. Over to bridge. This next one's called 57 Like a Fox. I'm sure you can guess what this is sort of based off. I've changed up the microphone type as well as the amp settings. Here we go, bridge. This next one's a really great rock and roll kind of sound. It's number 55 called Holy House, and I've just changed up the parameters on this. Let's try some open chords. Over to bridge. It's rock and roll right there. Thanks for watching, guys. My name's Shane. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what I think of this. Now, in terms of build quality, it's a really, really solid unit. It's way heavier than I thought it would be. Ugh. Yeah, so it's a metal construction. It weighs quite a lot, and I'm kind of glad that it does weigh as much as it does. You would think that sometimes lighter is better, but when it comes to a board like this that might be sitting on the floor for most people, you definitely don't want it moving around, and you don't want it also falling off a desk if you happen to sort of walk off with your guitar cable plugged into it. That can happen. I've done that before with other stuff. So having a bit of weight behind it means it feels really sturdy, and all of the buttons and all of the controls and the pots and everything feel really, really solid. So I give them high marks in terms of their build quality. Now, in terms of the functionality, I haven't even looked up the instructions. I just started fiddling around. Dom gave me about a 1-minute overview of how it works. That kind of sunk in, and it was really intuitive. So I give them credit for at least making a unit that's really intuitive pretty much right from the get-go. Now, there's a whole lot of functionality with this. You can sort of run amps in stereo and all that kind of stuff, which I didn't really get into. But there's that option if you want to deep dive into it. For a guy like me who just wants to play and just wants to record, you can see I've got a Kemper back here. Being able to plug and play and get the sounds I like out of it nice and easily is a great thing. One of the small downsides of a unit like this is it's jammed packed full of stuff. Now, that's also a positive, but the fact is there's a lot to take in. If you've gone from analog pedals and you've got something like this in front of you, you kind of don't know where to start unless you've used something like it before. But the learning curve is not that huge either. So as a dedicated recording tool, like, you know, something like how the Kemper works or any of these Mua G200s or Line 6 Helix, it does a really great job. I thought it sounded pretty convincing to my ear. It felt good to play. It had that low end attack and sort of real big sort of thump of a speaker being mic'd up, and I really like that. Now, not all of the presets are good, but it doesn't take much to actually sort of change them over. Now, unlike the Kemper, you can't actually profile your amp and then have it stored. You've got to get third-party IRs, like speaker IRs and so forth. So that's not a bad thing as well. The Kemper is a very different unit that will basically mimic your signal chain to some extent, or your amplifier, depending on how you want to run that, but that's a different conversation. So overall, I think the sounds in here are pretty convincing. One criticism I always have with these kind of units, and why I never use them live, is the fact that if you want to tweak something on the fly, it's generally pretty hard, but they made that pretty easy with this particular unit. Touch the pedal, and then you've got 3 controls. You can easily adjust different parameters, or you can use the touchscreen to sort of slide up and down to different controls, and it's a lot easier than some of the units that are like this, where you've got to dive through menus. And anytime you're diving through menus and you're not just playing at home or recording at home on your own, it's a nightmare. If you're out at a gig and you want to change the drive setting and you can't get to it without having to dive through a lot of menus, that's a huge pain. But this made it a whole lot easier than I was anticipating, so credit there as well. One of the cool things about this, if you're in a cover band, you can essentially store as many presets as you like. You could set up a different patch for every song and have that work to your favor in terms of, you know, being in a cover band where you might want to really replicate a specific sound. So that's cool as well. But for a guy like me who kind of likes just having one tone with a bit of delay here and there, you can also set it up like that as well. You can just leave it on your favorite amp and pedal combination, then turn delays on and off manually as well using the buttons. So that's pretty cool also. I think it's built really well. I'm really shocked at how well this thing's built. When I first picked it up, I was shocked at how heavy it was, and that means generally the quality is going to be good as well. And in terms of build quality, it's built like an absolute tank. Having the 2 XLR outputs on the back is also a winner. We've got it going to my UR22 MK2 back here as well. It's a great little sound card, and yeah, that's the tones that you heard. No tricks, no post-production on the computer. I've just basically turned this on, set up what I thought sounded good through my studio monitors, and that's what you're hearing as well on this video, except a slightly lower res version, but that's essentially it. So thanks again. Let me know what you think of this. If you already have one, please let me know what you like best about it in the comments as well. If you want to find out more about it, all the links will be in the description below. A huge thanks again to my friend Dom for letting me borrow this, mate. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know if I personally would take it out and play it live into an amp. I've got all my sounds sorted out with my analog pedals, but for what it does it extremely well, and I would use it in this sort of situation, you know, recording at home. I think this would be a really great option for that. Or if you're in a cover band going straight to a PA system, it would be also a really great option as well. Thanks again, catch you soon. See ya.